I'm pregnant, so give me a $60,000 gift. Madison blurted out her true feelings. How dare she come back home so boldly after stealing my fiancé? Just because she's pregnant doesn't mean she's forgiven. My father calmly repeats, "Get out." No way. I've already decided to come home for childbirth. What's wrong with a daughter returning to her parents' house? Madison, still brazen, seems unaware of the truth. She has no home to return to. Moreover, she's lost something even more important. I'm Emily Smith, 25 years old. Soon to be Mrs. Johnson. My marriage is settled. A year ago, worried about my eternal single status, my friends practically dragged me to a mixer. Honestly, it was none of their business. Because I'm not good looking. I've always been self-conscious about not having a bigger butt or a smaller nose since I was a kid. I thought no man could ever like unattractive me. But at that mixer, I met my destiny, Michael Johnson. Michael, lively in the life of the party, even talked to me, shrinking in the corner. "Your name is Emily? That's cute." My heart raced so fast I thought I'd have a heart attack. "Wow, Emily, you work at a good company. That means you've been studying hard since your student days. That's impressive. You're a hard worker." My less social, study-focused student days felt rewarded. It's fun to be with cheerful people. But being with calm people like Emily is more relaxing. Michael liked me, and I got my first ever boyfriend. Everything, from movies to meals, was so much more fun with two people than alone. And after dating for a year, he proposed, and now we're starting our wedding preparations. He's sociable and handsome, too good for me. My goodness, Emily's too lucky. When I introduced Michael to my parents, my mother first showed surprise. I thought the same, but it still hurts to hear it from her. "Where did you find such a handsome guy?" "Walking next to you, Emily, it's embarrassing." I feel sorry for Michael. My father quietly told her to stop, and she tapped her head. Sorry, I got carried away. I can't believe plain Emily is getting married, and she brought home a handsome guy. I'm shocked. Despite looking quiet, you did well, Emily. Michael and I exchanged dry smiles. My mother has always put me down. Emily, your nose is too big. Wouldn't it be better if it were smaller? Maybe you should consider plastic surgery? Hearing this repeatedly made me hate my appearance. And I have an older sister, for years my senior, who's stunningly beautiful. Tall, with distinct facial features, she looks like a model. People often compliment her looks, and occasionally, I'd receive some spillover praise like, "You are cute too." But my mother would quickly negate it. No, we don't need flattery here. Sorry to make you feel awkward. Standing next to each other, it's hard to find something to say about this one, right? Look, her nose is big, and her legs are short. She's quite the unfortunate one compared to her sister. She seemed delighted as she put me down in front of others. I remember the miserable feeling of being exposed in public. I had a faint hope that, at least today, during the marriage introduction, she would genuinely congratulate me. But my mother was the same as always, so I just looked down quietly. I made it! Let me see Emily's boyfriend! A bright voice suddenly filled the somewhat tense living room. Turning around, there was my sister, Madison. The beautiful sister I had always been compared to. Michael's face immediately relaxed. You're Emily's sister? Michael sounded excited. You don't look much like Emily, do you? I know, right? I get that a lot. Michael and Madison laughed and chatted freely, despite just meeting. On the way back, Michael kept reminiscing about Madison. Madison was cute, wasn't she? She seems like a nice sister, lucky you. It's nice, Emily, having a beautiful sister. Oh, and your mom's beautiful too. Madison takes after her, I guess. I forced a smile, though my heart felt complicated. Your dad's really nice too. I can't believe he's prepared $60,000 for our wedding. We can have a grand ceremony. Emily's family is really blessed. Michael repeated how envious he was. Then, suddenly, Michael stopped. Ah, that's right. I'm gonna be part of Emily's family. We're getting married, after all. I'll get a beautiful sister and a kind dad. Michael's playful remark made me burst out laughing. He's straightforward and adorable. I thought he could easily laugh off my worries. But a week later, Michael said, "Let's break up." He said it so casually, like a morning greeting, and I just tilted my head, not understanding. Still smiling, I asked, "What?" "So, let's break up." "What? What do you mean?" Michael sighed exaggeratedly. "I mean, it's over between us, Emily. No wedding. I don't love you anymore. Actually, I never really did." He laughed heartily at his own words. "I thought it'd be nice to have a hardworking, serious, and money-making wife like you. I really felt a spark thinking Emily's the one I'll marry." But I didn't want to hear the rest. I wanted to cover my ears, but I was frozen in place. If we're getting married, looks matter, right? The thought of waking up every day to your face and thinking she's ugly today too is like torture. So, I'm marrying Madison. I had a bad feeling when Michael and Madison first met. The happiness I almost had slipped away easily. In the end, I couldn't win against the beautiful Madison. I wanted to believe this was a lie, but then Madison herself joyfully announced her engagement. "Sorry, Emily. I took Michael. I'm almost in my 30s and was thinking about marriage, so I'll marry Michael." When Madison called me to our parents' house, my mother had prepared a feast. "Madison is finally getting married. I'm happy, but it's a bit lonely," she said. "You're crying, Mom?" "Just tears of joy. Right?" It looked like a happy exchange between mother and daughter. But my dad was shocked. And rigid expression said otherwise. "Michael, as in Emily's?" "Yeah. He said he'd rather marry me." My dad, sitting in his dining chair, leaned back sharply. Almost falling, I rushed to support him. "Are you okay, Dad?" He was trembling, unable to speak. "What's with that reaction? Are you that sad I'm getting married?" Madison laughed mockingly, pointing at him, despite Dad's obvious distress. "Don't joke around. What do you think you're doing to Emily?" Dad shouted in a flipped voice. Madison and Mom laughed even harder. I could only rub my red-faced father's back. "Get out! How can you enjoy stealing your sister's fiancé? I don't want to see your face. Get out and never show it again!" Dad shouted, tears streaming down his face. "Ugh, scary. And he's crying, gross. Honey, it's supposed to be a celebration. Stop it. Calm down." Dad glared at my giggling mother. He slammed his fist on the dining table with a loud crash. Madison and Mom flinched at the sound. "Dad, that's so unfair. You were happy about Emily's marriage, but you won't bless mine? A father discriminating between his children is the worst. I'm so disappointed in you." Madison and Mom left the house after dropping these parting words. Dad pushed the feast on the table aside, tears of frustration in his eyes. "I'm sorry, Emily." "Why are you apologizing, Dad? I'm over it now, it's okay." "No, it's not that. Dad was wrong. Actually." Then Dad started to speak, hesitantly revealing the truth I had never even considered. It was unexpected, but I accepted it without question. If only I had been more assertive. "Dad, it's okay. It's better this happened before the marriage. Even if we had married, he was the kind of man who would have cheated eventually. Let her have him." I tried to sound strong, but tears rolled down my cheeks. "Emily, I will always be on your side." Dad gripped my hand tightly. At that moment, I let out all the emotions I had been holding back and threw myself into his arms. Since then, I haven't seen Madison or Michael. Madison apparently moved into Michael's apartment, enjoying their newlywed life. Our family home and my apartment in the city are in New York, while Michael's place is in a neighboring state, about an hour's train ride away. The physical distance was a relief, given that Michael and I used to hang out in the city. The emotional wound was deep, but it gradually healed over time. It's been a year since that nightmarish incident, and my memories of Michael have faded to a blur. I started visiting my childhood home again, thanks to Dad's efforts, especially since Mom was there. I was getting used to a peaceful life. Then, one warm Sunday, I went to visit Dad. "Dad, you love pork belly, right? I'll cook some for you." As I stood in the kitchen chatting with Dad, our calm time was abruptly interrupted. The sound of the front door being jiggled caught our attention. In broad daylight, we braced for a burglar, but to our surprise, the door unlocked, and an unexpected person appeared. "Ah, Emily's here. Long time no see." It was Madison. Behind her was Michael, carrying large bags. "Madison, why are you here?" Dad stood up, startled as if he'd seen a ghost. "I told you never to show your face here again." Scary. "Are you still mad, Dad? Do you hold grudges that long?" Madison sat down on the living room sofa. "Get out! This isn't your home." Again, my father raised his voice. But Madison just smiled smugly. "Come on, Dad. Stop being angry about something that happened a year ago. It's over now." Madison gently stroked her belly with a strangely tender touch, making me feel uneasy. "I'm pregnant. You're going to be a grandfather, Dad. Aren't you happy? I've decided to come back home for the birth, so please take care of me." It was clear. Madison thought that having a baby would make everything forgivable. The way she lovingly stroked her belly seemed almost mockingly spiteful. "I'll let you hold the baby, Dad. Let's make up, okay?" Dad, with a furrowed brow, spoke in a low voice. "What's your real motive?" Madison clicked her tongue in annoyance. "So rude. I'm trying to make amends here." Dropping her smiling facade, Madison revealed her true intentions. "I'm pregnant, so I want a $60,000 gift." It was about money, after all. I couldn't help but blurt out, "I'm not interested in my sister's child. Please leave." Then Madison clung to Michael. "No way, Emily's scary. Are you still mad at me? That's too obsessive, don't you think? Wait, do you still have feelings for Michael? Stop trying to steal someone else's husband, okay? Oh, but with you, I guess I don't have to worry about him being stolen." Madison and Michael exchanged glances and snickered. Feeling embarrassed, I averted my eyes from their mocking stares. "Wow, you really are ugly. I'm glad we didn't get married. When you're angry, you get more wrinkles and your eyes look even worse. No benefits at all. Ugliness becomes uglier. Come on, Emily, smile." "Hey Madison, leave her alone. Even if she smiles, she's still ugly." "True." As my father and I remained silent, the two of them got carried away, feeling victorious. No matter how beautiful they might look on the outside, their smiles were tainted with ugliness. Their loud, obnoxious laughter was grating to my ears. After a while, my father repeated, "Get out." "No way. I've already decided to come back home for childbirth. Is it bad for a daughter to return to her parents' house? Hey, by the way, where's Mom? I'm hungry." Dad tilted his head in confusion. "Haven't you heard? Why didn't Madison know?" Dad continued. "Your mother is no longer here." "What?" "I had her leave." "What?" I had assumed Madison had been informed by our mother. But her reaction suggested she was completely unaware. "What? That's a lie. Why?" The reason was obvious, Madison herself. Despite Madison stealing my fiancé, Mom didn't mind and even blessed her marriage. We sisters had always been discriminated against by our mother, but this was too much. Even Dad couldn't forgive her. "I can't believe this. Who's going to take care of me and the baby then? Bring Mom back right now." Madison, the reason for our parents' strained marriage, was still only concerned about herself. "Madison, stop it. That's impossible. Why? Just ask Mom to come back and apologize. No, it's impossible. Mom isn't coming back because she and Dad are divorced. Madison choked, unable to speak. So, the kind of homecoming for childbirth you're thinking of isn't possible. It's a lie. It's not a lie. Besides, the divorce was because of you, Madison. You had the nerve to come back after breaking up our parents. Madison's face contorted as she slowly looked around the room. The flashy paintings and cute stuffed animals that were Mom's favorites were gone. The reality of the divorce hit Madison hard. What about the baby then? You'll have to take care of it yourself. You're going to be a mother, after all. That's what you should do. But I can't handle childcare. I don't want a life with messy hair and no nails. Even if I have a child, I want to be a glamorous mom. Without Mom, it's all impossible. I was appalled. She planned to dump all childcare on Mom. The baby would probably be just an accessory to get compliments from others. I can't believe you got divorced without consulting me. Ugh, this is so annoying. Fine, Dad will do. I'm moving in here for a while. Dad can take care of the baby. Had she not been listening? Dad was rejecting her, but she acted otherwise. Madison seemed to believe she was a special being, entitled to love and protection from everyone. It was baffling to imagine what was going on in her mind. Why should I? Dad had calmed his earlier agitation and asked coldly. Come on, Dad. Let's end this fight, okay? I'll apologize to Emily. I'm really sorry. I took Michael from you. I can't raise the baby alone. Help me, Dad. Her feigned sweetness was chilling. Dad twitched at his temples and contorted his face. Stop it, will you? I don't want to be called Dad by you. You're not my daughter. That's mean, Dad. It was nauseating to watch. Was this the behavior that fooled men? It certainly wasn't working on Dad. Be quiet. Every time I hear your voice, I feel disgusted. Understand this, I have no obligation to take care of you. We're not family, we're strangers. That's so mean. Does the bond of parent and child break so easily? There was never a bond to begin with. Dad took a deep breath before revealing a truth. You and I are not blood related. Madison's eyes widened in shock. I had heard this story a year ago, after Madison stole my then fiancé, Michael. Madison, you're Mom's child from a previous marriage, and we got married later. I learned that I was a child born after they remarried. I had always felt that the discrimination from our mother towards us sisters was more than just because of Madison's appearance. Perhaps Mom was overcompensating out of fear of Dad's favoritism. Dad had always loved us equally, and the fact that I was still his daughter didn't change. That's absurd. So now that you're divorced from Mom, you're cutting ties with me because we're not blood related? That's too cruel. And I always thought of you as my dad. After all these years, you're just going to abandon me? Madison was only 2 years old when they remarried. It made sense she had no memory of that time and believed Dad was her biological father. There's no abandoning, you and I. Madison cut him off with a loud voice. I hate this. I can't believe I thought of someone like you as my dad, how stupid. Despite being shocked, her anger seemed to outweigh everything else. It doesn't matter who my dad is. Actually, I'm glad you're not my real dad. If I had your DNA, my beauty would have definitely been downgraded. I wonder if my real dad is handsome. Lucky me, born from a beautiful mother and a handsome father. Madison's lack of distress and her harsh words were infuriating. But Madison's scheming expression continued. Just because you're divorced doesn't mean you can cut off our parent-child relationship just like that. This will be the last time, so please celebrate the baby. Right, Dad? Madison tilted her head, trying to appear cute. You were going to give Emily $60,000 for her wedding, right? Since I'm not having a wedding, you can give me that as a baby shower gift. I'll give up on coming home for childbirth. She seemed intent on getting whatever she could, even in the process of cutting ties. There's not a penny for strangers. I've fulfilled my duty as a parent. Go to your mother for help. Michael, please take Madison and leave. Dad was firm in his refusal. Michael, who had been quiet, finally spoke up. That's not right. Just because you divorced your wife, does that mean you're no longer Madison's parent? You raised her since she was a child, don't you have any feelings? Besides, it's not the unborn child's fault, so please give them a celebration. Don't make me repeat myself. I have no money for strangers. Go to your mother. Madison and Michael accused Dad of being heartless. I feel sorry for my past self, thinking of you as my father. When the baby is born, I'll tell them their grandfather was the worst. Mom hated him, so he didn't celebrate your birth. Madison and the baby will always resent you. Madison spat out her curse-like words. But Dad remained unfazed. Blame your mother. Mom's a victim, discarded by you. I raised you as my own daughter, but we couldn't become a real family because of your mother. What? Dad looked straight at Madison and explained. When we remarried, I thought we'd become a real family by legally adopting Madison. But your mother secretly tore up the adoption papers. Dad asked, do you know why? Madison frowned in confusion. Your mother wanted to keep receiving child support from your biological father. She hid the remarriage and continued to receive about $400 a month. At the time of the remarriage, Mom insisted on keeping her maiden name. So Madison wouldn't know about the marriage change. Reflecting now, it was likely to keep the remarriage a secret. Dad continued in a disgusted tone. If that money had been used for Madison, it would be understandable. But it seems it was just pocket money for her. What? That's how it is. We're divorced now, and you and I are strangers. Why should I give a large sum of money to a stranger? Is this extortion? Should I call the police? Madison's face turned red with anger and embarrassment. That's awful. How can you be so cold? The cold one is your mother. After a pause, I asked, why did you suddenly decide to come back home for childbirth without discussing it first? Because Mom. Madison hesitated. Because Mom? She reluctantly continued. Mom didn't reply. I couldn't contact her. I thought she'd be happy about the baby and that coming home for childbirth would be fine. I see, so you decided to come back on your own because you couldn't contact Mom. Didn't you think it was strange that she wasn't responding? Not really. Right, Madison always assumed she was loved and deserved special treatment. You never thought Mom would abandon you. What? I don't think Mom wants to see you anymore. That's a lie. Mom loves me. Yes, but it seems she loves herself more. I believed Mom would always side with Madison no matter what. So it was unbelievable that she would betray Madison in the worst way. It was shortly after Madison had stolen my fiancé, Michael, leading to a marriage by elopement. The relationship between my father and mother had irreparably broken down. Inevitably, they divorced, and the very next day, my mother quickly disappeared. She took the money intended for your wedding, too. Madison, still not grasping the situation, listened. As I continued. Dad had saved $60,000 for both of us. But Mom took your share and disappeared without telling you about the divorce or the money. After the divorce, it was decided that Mom would take care of Madison. Mom condemned Dad as a heartless man, vowing never to let Madison see him again. So, Dad never reached out to Madison. He believed Mom would tell her about the divorce and give her the money, but this was the outcome. That's horrible. Give me my money back. Madison grabbed my shirt, but there was nothing I could do. I looked into her eyes and said firmly. That's why Dad said to blame Mom. Madison was struggling to accept that Mom had abandoned her. Confused, she held her head. What should I do? Who will take care of the baby? My money. She muttered in a panic. Turning to Michael, who had been trying to stay out of it, Madison cried for help. Michael, what should we do? Michael avoided eye contact and muttered, I don't know. Michael was never reliable. He married me for financial security and switched to Madison for her beauty. A man like that wouldn't be dependable in a crisis.
What do you mean you don't know? You're so cold. Why am I the only one suffering like this?
Madison crumbled in despair, and I just watched from above. We eventually managed to get her to leave, but I was far from relieved. Then an unexpected situation arose.
Look, I'm going to destroy all our family memories.
Late at night, Madison called, and I accidentally answered while half asleep. It switched to a video call, and what I saw made my brain nearly explode.
What? The house?
Our family home was on fire. The fire was still small, confined to potted plants at the entrance, but the strong wind was fanning the flames. Michael's face appeared on the screen.
That's scary. Did you fall asleep with a cigarette or something?
Oh, wait, you wouldn't sleep at the entrance.
Actually, this was my brilliant idea.
Hey, Emily, want the fire put out? Michael was never dependable. My judgment of him was apparently correct.
I'll put it out right away.
So, about the money.
You won't be getting married anyway, so just hand over your share of the $60,000 to us, right?
I'm not giving you the money.
Oh, don't care what happens to your dad in the house?
Such a heartless daughter.
You're mistaken about something. Nobody lives in that house.
What? Unfortunately for them, Dad is right here with me. Looking at the video call screen.
Why not?
Because Dad moved in with me.
We thought you might bother us, but we never expected you to do something this dangerous.
It was a good decision to move.
Lies! Someone's living there!
What? That can't be. As we spoke, the fire grew stronger. Suddenly, the front door opened.
Mom?
It was my mother who emerged from the house. Apparently having been asleep inside when the smoke crept in.
Give me back my money!
Instead of a heartwarming reunion, Madison immediately attacked Mom. Mom, still groggy from sleep, stumbled and fell back.
Don't run away! I finally found you! Give me back my money!
Madison tried to grab Mom, who lost her balance and fell into the burning potted plants.
Hot! Help!
Mom's face was already reddened and her hair singed, even though she escaped the small fire quickly.
It hurts! It's hot!
As Mom cried and rolled on the ground, Madison and Michael made no move to help. In fact, a faint smile played on Madison's face. Then, fire trucks and police cars arrived. And Madison and Michael finally panicked. They were arrested on the spot for arson, still not grasping the gravity of their actions. Their intention was probably just a minor threat to extort money from Dad and me. The triviality of their malice was chilling. Although the damage was minimal, Madison and Michael received actual prison sentences.
We just wanted some money.
In their cold cells, that's what they were said to have muttered. Madison gave birth in confinement and had no choice but to relinquish her child. The child would undoubtedly be better off in foster care or with adoptive parents than being raised by Madison. Additionally, my mother suffered severe facial burns. Apparently, she had been sneaking into the house frequently, stealing valuables without Dad's knowledge. After learning that Dad had moved out but hadn't sold the house, she decided to live there. My mother, once beautiful like Madison, lost her beauty easily. But I feel no sympathy. She betrayed and discarded not just me but Madison as well. How could I feel sorry for such a person?
Your house caused my burns. Take responsibility.
My mother irrationally blamed my father.
It's your fault for living in someone else's house without permission. That's trespassing and theft, isn't it? How dare you? Look at what happened to my face. That's irrelevant to your crimes. You will be held accountable.
My father was unyielding. Mother's once beautiful face, now distorted and marred, contorted further as she wept bitterly. Even though she had aged gracefully, relying on men for her livelihood was no longer an option. The burned house suffered only minor damage to the entrance. Though still habitable, we decided to let it go. My father took early retirement and bought a small house near the beach. Being single and able to work remotely, I decided to join him.
Ah, this is perfect. So relaxing.
The large windows of our house offer a view of the sea, especially beautiful at sunset. I used to enjoy the conveniences of city life, but now I'm fond of the laid-back lifestyle in the countryside. Looking outside, I saw a squirrel darting by. The area, rich in nature, is frequented by squirrels, raccoons, and occasionally rabbits. I thought moving to a less populated rural area might mean fewer human encounters, but I frequently met wildlife instead. You took a long shower. Get ready, he'll be here soon. And it wasn't just wildlife I encountered. I also met a wonderful man. We planned to work together in the garden. He might not be someone Madison would envy, but I like his simple, unpretentious nature. After gardening, my father, smiling, was selecting a bottle of wine for us to enjoy together.
Hey, Emily. Will you be showing me your wedding dress soon? Oh, maybe. I'm looking forward to it. You'll look beautiful in white. You're exceptionally pretty, you know.
Lately, my father has been making doting comments frequently. Thanks to this, the curse of believing I was unattractive is finally starting to lift. Secretly, I also yearned for a beautiful wedding dress.
Stop it, Dad. Have you been drinking already?
I felt my face warm slightly. My father chuckled mischievously. Our life was simple yet filled with happiness.